Hey guys, B here. You're gonna notice today's episode's a little bit different. We sit down with Tony Kelley and address the state of Brazil, the world, what's going on, and we don't give out picks. Bit redundant, I know. Why am I doing this video? But we crack wise and have a good time. So hopefully you guys enjoy the episode. Thanks.
All right, guys, welcome back to MMA Breakdowns and Bets. Santino DeFranco, Brandon Olivas over there. And you are not somebody who's usually breaking down fights with us. We have Tony Kelley here today. We want to interview Tony today to...
Well, we will be breaking down fights.
Yeah.
A little different form and fashion.
Yeah, a little bit differently than usual. How you doing today, Tony?
Doing pretty good, man. Doing pretty good. I'm excited to be here.
Talking to the mic. There you go.
Oh, yeah. Like, talk right into this thing.
I had to get coached up and yelled at for so long, so you got to talk into the mic.
Brandon would be talking, and he would just look sideways, and everything got really quiet, and then it would get really loud, and so he went back in, and so, yeah, just talk right into that mic. I've known you for, how do we even meet? Was it Carlos Castro who brought you over, or?
I think it
might have been Carlos Castro
in Orlando.
Yeah, in Orlando. Yeah. And then which one of them hurt your knee? Who hurt your knee?
Carlos.
We'll get back to that. So, yeah, so I met you with Carlos Castro and OJ Jimenez years and years ago over at Siege.
You said that name, and I know Carlos so well, and I've like forgot his name.
Yeah, he's not really much in the game anymore. He has a normal job doing normal people stuff. And this is before you fought for the leg. And it wasn't even LFA back then. It was Legacy fighting for the title.
I was actually just thinking that because I was thinking, man, I watched your fight when you fought, what, 5 rounds in that fight? Yeah. It was 5 crazy ass rounds. And I remember watching it while I was serving at a sports bar, but I had him put it on the TVs. And I was like, how did we get it on the TVs if it was on Fight Pass? But it was Legacy. So it was on Access TV back then.
Yes.
We got it up.
Yeah. Good old Access TV. Yeah. And then, so I met you getting ready for that fight. And that was really, honestly, like, I don't care about your UFC career, Tony. That was your best fight ever. That was a good fight. That was a really good fight. You went 5 rounds. You lost a close split decision, which I thought you should have won. I mean, again, it was a close fight. Judges are judges, but I thought you won it. Not only because was in your corner and you're sitting in front of me right now and I don't want to get punched, but I thought you legitimately won that fight. The craziest thing about that fight, which, Jesus, your shirt, like what are you, Native American all of a sudden? You got quilts on your shirt?
African dickhead.
Like, what?
It's got loud right here.
Yeah, like what just happened? He took off.
I got a little warm
for a yelling.
All this heat underneath.
But that was probably one of the craziest camps ever in terms of if everything could go wrong, it went wrong.
Yeah, nobody understands. Like I was on the sideline for most of that camp.
I was going to give a run through of that, but why don't you give the run through of that?
If I can remember, I just remember, I was putting in rounds leading up to that. I already had a slight tear in my MCL, and then me and Carlos were getting some rounds in, and he just accidentally fell on. He went for a trip, and my leg got caught up underneath, and it actually, when I got the MRI, I don't know if I did it all the way during the fight because it popped a couple times during the fight as well, but the MRI after the fight was like, yeah, your MCL is completely detached. Your knee is opening up. I was like, oh, okay, good stuff.
But there was other stuff too. Is your MCL? Yeah. Wasn't it? I mean, you had like.
I had an ACL surgery before, maybe like 5 or 6 years before, and then meniscus repair. So.
Okay. Yeah. And you were out
hard on it.
Pretty much the whole camp was like nursing that, doing some cardio on a bike. Yeah, not functioning at all. Then I remember
most of my UFC career.
Yeah. When we got to, because you left a day or two before I got there, and then I remember they went through your security went through all your bags, took all of your stuff out.
They took all my shit. You
remember? They took all your MMA stuff. They took
all of my shit.
Like your cup. We had to buy a new cup when we got to.
How was that cup shopping with another man?
Oh, it was perfectly fine.
Easy. Yeah, one size fits all. It works for me.
And then there was other stuff. I don't remember all the other stuff leading up into that, but I remember it was a train wreck. You fought your ass off, and then you took 2-3 years off after that.
You went through a phase.
Yeah, I don't know, but you can call it a phase. I don't know. It was my second knee surgery. A lot of changing parts of my life. I migrated all over, and just a lot hit me. And then having to rebuild this leg to come back from it, that was not something I was just like 100% steadfast on. I was kind of bummed out to actually have to put in all that work to get back to where I was at. And I just didn't do the things that I needed to do, you know, and I got focused on other segments of my life and started to try to make some money and do some other stuff. And yeah,
People don't
time just
realize
eluded
that
me, I guess.
MMA is a labor of love and there's no money in it. And so then when you get an injury like that, and then you're like, I've got to go do something else for a while. And then you start making a little bit of money. And then the mental side of like, well, I'm making money now. I'm not getting punched in the face.
Why would I ever go back?
Yeah. Well, I've got a year of rehab before I can even really function. It's not like you can just go, oh, here, let me just take a quick short notice call up to the UFC. It's like, no. I got to fix my knee. I got to get back to where I was. I got to get a fight.
You got to build trust in that knee again, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you were up in Colorado farming, basically. Tell us about that, because that was interesting. That was, like Brandon said, that was a phase, but you were up there living off the grid, doing a thing for a minute. How did you end up in Colorado? And then what were you doing up there?
Man, honestly, you know, a lot of things led me to that. You know, I had some health issues. Obviously, I was trying to gain control of my health. And can you guys hear me okay in this? Okay, perfect. Had to try to regain control of my health. I went up to study, you know, holistic nutrition and took courses and classes up there. You know, cannabis was legal there at the time as opposed to here. You know,
were you working on a cannabis farm, or were you working on just like a regular?
Just a regular farm.
Okay, just regular farm.
Yeah, yeah. And just learned a lot of stuff about agriculture and you know, the body, the planet, and stuff like that, and just try to learn as much as I could. I don't really have any more to delve into that, you know, but that was just, like I guess you say a phase, you know. It just brought me that direction.
So I've got a above ground garden out back. Can you show me how to not kill everything?
Andrea could probably show you better than me, man, honestly. She's got a green thumb now. We got a garden in the backyard, and she's got a couple greenhouses. So
really,
she's on top of that more than I am right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so you came back, and I remember calling you, being like, "Get your ass back."
Well, when you came back, it wasn't regular come back. I remember, this is actually funny. I remember like looking through my pictures the other day on Facebook, and it was a picture of you and me, 10 years ago almost, like crazy. Like
don't say 10 years, bro.
Yeah, almost 10 years ago.
No way.
I was a teenager still. And then you were fighting for the legacy title. It's just funny. And then 10 years later, but when you came back, you were skinny. You were like skinny.
Yeah, you lost. What was the weight loss? Like, I mean, was that a health thing, or was that just eating better and doing the right stuff, or was that
eating different, probably, right?
Maybe that. Maybe it was like the health thing, and that led me down that spiral right there. And then, you know, just walking around lighter just because of the decisions that I made because of that, you know. I cleaned up my diet. I've walked light the whole time. You guys have known me since that point, probably. And it's a lot of nutrition changes, just eating more clean, wholesome foods and stuff like that. Maybe I don't eat enough. You know what I mean? Probably.
Okay. Yeah, because you were fighting at 145.
Mm-hmm. I didn't think there was a chance in hell you could ever make 35.
Yeah, walking around like 165-ish, you know, something like that. And then when you came back, you were walking around probably 55.
Yeah.
And then, you know, fighting at 35. What do you walk around at now?
160, 162, somewhere around there.
Okay.
Not the best shape though, you know.
But
we're doing that good old comeback again, one more time.
And then
king of comebacks.
When you got back, did you fight? What did you fight? Did you fight and show in Louisiana, right?
In Louisiana, yeah, on a promotion called AKA, American Combat Alliance.
Was that just one fight, or did you have multiple fights before you went to the UFC?
Just one. Yeah.
Okay. And then you got the call to fight Kai Kamaka on 6 days' notice.
Yeah. Was that how short it was? 6 days?
It was 6 days. It was literally 6 days' notice. Short. And first, just tell us about that. Are you living in Louisiana at the time?
Yes. Yeah.
And you get the call. Who was your manager at the time?
Oh God, Matt Weibel.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
first round management.
Tell people what that call is like.
Oh man, it was pretty unique, man. Actually pretty surreal. You know, I'm just it's another average every day for me. You know, I'm getting ready. Maybe to go just hit the bag or go for a run because I didn't really have training put in place like I should have, you know. And I was kind of just bullshitting. Most of my fights for the UFC were just hitting a bag and running. But I get a phone call and he's like, "Hey man, what are you doing next Saturday?" And I was like, shit, I'm trying to think about what I'm doing next Saturday. He's like, well, how would you like to fight on Daniel Cormier, Stipe Miocic 3, you know? And I was like, well, of course. Are you fucking with me? He's like, no, I'm not. you're leaving, in a couple of days, get your shit ready. You're fighting Kai Kamaka. I said, okay, great. Yeah. So, I mean, the experience to me was cool because it was during COVID time, so they had the Apex was kind of shut down. I know it was weird for a lot of people. I like audiences, I like crowds, but something about that was unique in itself, just to go fight another man, you and your team. And so it's like I had a group of people and we showed up to go fight another group of people.
And that was early in the Apex career and, early in COVID when the whole world was shut down. And I'm with you. I hate the Apex and I want a crowd. I want the noise. But at first, when we first got there and everything was shut down, but then we had the opportunity to have people fight there, and it was cool for a while. It got old really fast, but for a minute, it was
the whole world was like that. It just felt like you were doing something super secret and nobody else is in on this except for the UFC people.
We got to do something that other people didn't. It was an inside job.
You're at your homes and we're doing this.
We're out here doing stuff. And then, that was. Then after that was at Al Casey in.
Yeah, that was Abu Dhabi.
That was in Abu Dhabi.
That was on Fight Island in Abu Dhabi, and it was an awesome experience because actually I got to go to Abu Dhabi prior to COVID with Andrea for one of her fights, and it was a totally different experience, man. They had us quarantined to that hotel. It was kind of like very centered around what we were doing there, so you really felt like some Mortal Kombat shit, you know what I mean? Like you're flying out to represent, where you're from, and that's just it.
Who did she fight? That wasn't the one that we're going to talk about more.
No, she fought Joanne Calderwood at the time.
Okay, got it. Yeah, that was a weird experience being in Abu Dhabi. I don't know if you tried to go, they had security everywhere.
Yeah,
and if you tried to go off the beaten path, they were like, no, you, but they wouldn't tell you, no, you can't go there. They would say like, oh, what are you looking for? And you're like, oh, I'm looking for say a coffee shop. No, that's over there. It's through those doors. You want to go over there. And then, no, we know but it's a shortcut. And they're like, no. This is just, it's no good down there. And they would just tell you
it's no good.
They would literally no, it's no good. There's nothing here. Oh, you're looking for this. And then they would go show you someplace where they wanted you to be, but they would never tell you, no, you can't go there. They would try to redirect you so that it wasn't us telling you can't do this,
right? Yeah.
But you not wanting to go there. And then, we had that trail where you could walk from the hotel to the
cage down there on the beach.
Yeah, to the cage on the beach, and then Yaz Island. Yeah. And I guess it was Yaz Island to the beach, which is like a canal, which on TV looks like this beautiful, gorgeous thing. In reality, it's like 120 degrees. 98% humidity,
it's miserable.
And it's a canal with hot water in it. It was disgusting.
That reminds me. Did you guys ever see the North Korea special where Vice went there?
No.
And they sit him down in a room and show him all this food that they have. And the second he gets up, they start taking the food back to save it, just so on camera and in appearance it looks like they have abundance.
Wow. Yeah,
it's not like
that. Was Abu Dhabi. If you looked everywhere that we went, it was all sectioned off and cardboarded off, and so you couldn't even see anything. But if you looked through that cardboard, it's a desert. It's absolute desolation.
It reminds me of Rocky Point, in Mexico, where it's really nice right here. Don't go outside that.
What I was so surprised with in Abu Dhabi was the climate. I'm from Louisiana, born and raised, and it's humid there. It's hot. It's thick. Texas is the same way. Abu Dhabi shit on all of that.
I was
like,
compare.
what the fuck is this?
Now you beat Al Casey in Abu Dhabi. Was there any stuff after? Was there death threats or craziness?
No, I had them all before,
Before?
Yeah.
People on Twitter and Instagram DMing you?
Almost every single fight I've ever had. Yeah. But
really? I could see that as your career progressed.
Yeah.
Maybe the Al Casey fight.
Fuck it. I'm an easy target. Whatever. But no, it's just his countryman, he's, I guess, maybe the first Jordanian fighter to represent the country Jordan. So, I had plenty of people kind of, oh, Jordan, you're going to smash you, this and that, and you're going to die, blah, 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 blah. I was like, okay.
Why do
it's
other
a fight.
Americans,
I hope I don't die. It's a fight.
We'll yell USA, but you go to Brazil and they're like, kill him.
Right.
Well, this chant hits a little differently. You're going to die, infidel, versus USA.
Yeah.
I mean, it is
and you know what? Weird. What's funny to me though is USA, they're not even loyal, man. There is no there's no USA crowd for a USA fighter. It's like a multi different people. It's like this USA guy is for this Brazilian over here or Argentinian or whatever. It's like Brazil fans and Argentina fans and Jordan fans, they support their own, man. They really do. And I respect that.
When it would come out in droves is Irish fans.
Yeah, see, like that. Yeah, they represent, man. They represent
some stuff.
I'm like, what's up, USA? Come on, bro. Shit.
So you fought out Casey, then you beat up Costa, and that was a good one. He came in hot and heavy, and then you put it on him in the second round. Was second round or third round?
I think it was the second round.
I think it was the second round. We'll get to Yanez later because I want to talk to you about your Yanez fight after we talk about kind of the big elephant in the room.
Are your eyes colored contacts?
Yeah, that's what everybody wants to know.
No, they are not. They are not.
And so you're
probably need
in the UFC. You're, a UFC fighter, and then you're dating Andrea Lee. And how long you guys have known each other since high school, right? You said.
Yeah. Actually, we've known each other since we were amateurs.
Okay.
She stumbled in the gym. I'm like, this girl's not gonna last. She's not gonna make it. She is in the UFC.
And then she was in the UFC before you were.
Yeah, before I was.
Like, shit.
I'm like, damn, I gotta get my shit together.
So, and then how many UFC fights did you corner her for? All of them? Or
shit. No. She's had, I don't know, 8, 9 in there. I think I've been a part of like 4, maybe.
Okay. Do you remember the first time you cornered her? Which fight was that?
I don't. I cornered her early on as an amateur as well, but
I mean, in the UFC, the first UFC fight that you cornered.
It might have been that Abu Dhabi one. It might have been
Joanne Calderwood. Yeah. Was it? Yeah, Joanne Calderwood. Then now I think it's Joanne Wood. Yeah. So that might have been the first one, and then. But
she had coaches. So my whole thing with like cornering and coaching and all that is like I never like signed up and said, hey, I'm a head coach. I'm coaching people. This is what I do. I'm just an athlete. I train, I fight, I compete. And if I can help you out, I will do anything that I can to help you out. She had people already put in place doing those things. You know what I mean? And, respect to everybody that was doing their things. I just, do things a little bit differently. And,
Did you ever have issues with any of her corners, or was it always pretty mutual and pretty fine or anything? Yeah,
it was okay. Maybe maybe not all the way in sync with certain things. You know what I mean? I feel like, I'm old school, man. I feel like, whatever you're good at, stay good at what you do and go and do that. Don't let anyone change you from doing what you do to fit some other type of mold or, what they see. Like what you do got you to where you are. So continue to do that shit,
What did you see? Were they trying to change on her at all?
It's not necessarily that they were trying to change. It's like, things that are like, I don't know. It's contradictive a little bit. It's like, hey, we're not going to kick above the waist because Joanne's good at catching kicks and getting takedowns off of this. It's like, well, shouldn't we throw more kicks and prepare for somebody to catch and to do that because we're good at throwing a kick? I find like the counterpart to that, right? So, and then you're like, okay, we're not going to throw kicks, but we're going to hold tie pads and we're going to throw kicks above the fucking waist every single time we're holding tie pads. To me, it's confusing and maybe confusing to your fighter, and maybe you don't instill the most confidence in their skill set. It's like, hey, no takedowns, don't clinch, don't kick above the waist. It's like, well, fuck, how do you want me to win? What the fuck? Yeah. I don't want to be worried about this motherfucker's arm bar or some shit. Like, I don't give a fuck about your takedown. I don't give a fuck about your stand up. We're going to find out.
Do you? Yeah.
Yeah, because there's a line of what do they do well versus fuck, how are they going to stop what I'm doing?
Exactly. And then I get too focused on what they're doing as opposed to what I'm doing.
What you're doing, yeah.
Right, yeah.
Henry, when I first met Henry Cejudo, I asked him, I said, you were talking about his Benavidez fight. I started coaching him. It was actually a fight that didn't happen, the first Sergio one. And I said, why didn't you, I said, you shot in, you took Benavidez down. Why did you only shoot once? And he was like, well, I shot in, he grabbed my neck, and he has a good guillotine. I was afraid of him choking me out. And I said, that's just stupid. Like, what makes you is that you're an Olympic gold medalist. Right. If you take that away, I said, instead of not shooting, how about you get really good at defending a guillotine and you let everybody throw guillotines on you, and then we're good, as opposed to not doing what you want to do.
Casey had a good guillotine, and I wasn't going to not prepare for a guillotine, but I wasn't going to freak out when I got put into it.
Hold the mic. Yeah.
Sorry.
They're super picky. They're super picky. Yeah, that's it. I mean, you weren't going to not, or avoid grappling with
I'm gonna
him.
prepare for it. Yeah, get guillotined a whole lot. You know, learn how to handle it when it's sunk in. It's deep from anyone. You know what I mean? But I'm not worried about if he locks up a guillotine on me. You know.
I agree. I agree.
So.
You hear that, people? Just be better, damn it. Yeah, there's a lot of stupid shit in MMA. There's a lot of stupid shit. A lot of stupid training, a lot of stupid coaches, a lot of people saying the wrong stuff. And we just allow it to be right because nobody is really calling it out like that. Like just, you know, don't catch kicks, or she catches kicks, or don't do this and that. And it's like the list goes on and on and on and on, from everything, strength and conditioning. You know, Kamuela over here is like, I'm on a kick on how stupid strength and conditioning is in our sport. It's like,
yeah,
let's do battle ropes and hops and this and that. Let's not actually ever lift anything heavy. And if we do enough dumb shit in between our sets, we'll still be tired. And
it's just so funny how the world has circled all the way back to the beginning, to the basics.
Yeah.
Bag work, shadow boxing, lifting basic. Like that is the stuff that works and is effective. Wrestling.
Fundamentals win. I mean, you see it going from college football to the NFL a lot, and you're starting to see more trick plays in the NFL and more movement. But there's actually, look at Miami's, if you guys pay attention to football at all, look at Miami's motion. They do more motion than any other team in the league, but it's all just a setup. It's all smoke, not all of it, but a lot of it is smoke and mirrors. And then they're just running right up the middle. It's like basics win. And in college football, you see a lot of flea flickers, a lot of trick plays, a lot of shit like that.
Yeah.
That ends up in a fourth down or a pick six.
Yeah.
Where in the NFL, you don't see the dumb shit because that's what wins.
Because that shit doesn't work. Yeah.
Hail Marys don't win.
Yeah.
I mean, 1 out of 100 they do.
Yeah.
Every once in a while they do, but the other 99 times they don't win, you don't see them replayed on Instagram. It's the one time that they do, they do. So, I could go on about this forever, but we've got, so you're cornering, coaching Andrea Lee, and then
coaching, I guess. Yeah.
Coaching-ish. You're helping.
Was there coaching, but you're banned from the corner now? Or what's going on?
No, I'm not banned from the corner. Hopefully.
So
that I know of.
The big thing that hit you is you got railroaded a little bit with something you said. So you're in the corner. It was with the Vivian Araujo fight, right?
Now, before we start this, I just want to let you know, just so it's on the table, I'm now dating a Brazilian woman. So, all right, we'll continue.
So that basically,
we'll tread lightly.
respect to that. Yeah.
So she's fighting Vivian Araujo. She's fought some other people beforehand. After the first or the second round, and we'll play the clip for you guys on camera. You know, we'll play it here, but you know, we'll pause here.
Mouthpiece flying, kicks her in the head as she gets back to her feet, and then just throws her to her back.
I want. And just throws her to her back.
Tell us what you said and what led up to what you said, and then the backlash of everything that happened.
Well, so obviously, as you know, in between rounds, you have 1 minute, right? That time starts before you're sitting down, before you're talking to your athlete. You know, I walk over to Andrea, and she seems like distraught about some stuff, and it looked like a good round. I'm like, she got the head kick, she dropped her, we didn't put her away, we should have probably put her away, you know. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on, and she's like, that bitch fucking jammed her finger in my eye, and it made me lose my position.
Really, like this fucking
beautiful fucking job.
Shoved her thumb in it.
Hey, it's okay. We ain't worried about none of that.
Breathe.
We ain't worried about.
Yeah, but it ruined my position.
And I'm thinking, okay, well, this is my girlfriend, so I can give a fuck what anybody else says. What she says is ironclad to me. So a finger went under her eye, you know. So I'm like, well, that's fucked up, you know. And I'm thinking in my head, like, I'm not thinking PC, you know. Jumble all my words together. I'm like, we're fighting Brazilians. They train Luta Libre. I already knew this coming in. Like, that style right there is more like street grappling type shit, like effectiveness, you know, fish hooks, eye gouges, things like that. And I'm like, that's fucking dirty. So I said that, you know, dirty Brazilian.
That's what they're gonna do. They're dirty fucking Brazilians. They're gonna fucking cheat like that. Guess what? We came to fuck somebody up, and we will oblige.
And then that term right there, people hung me out to dry and crucified me for that shit, saying I'm racist this, racist that. And then, like, what really bothers me about that whole thing is, like, crickets on every other side of the field. You know, it's like no one, all the Brazilians I know, everyone's silent, everyone, not one person. I'm like, bro, I come from a multicultural upbringing. Like, that's what Louisiana is. I mean, I brought you out there. It's just what it is, you know? And I'm like, how a reasonable person could think that I'm racist or mean like the whole nation of Brazil or nationality of Brazilians is dirty, like from that one particular incident. But I've got a minute to kind of compartmentalize this and try to take what information I got from Andrea and give her something back. And, you know, I fell short on that, you know, because I got distracted by that bothering me because the ref didn't do his job. You know, she's voicing it. We lost a position, and then it got into her head, and then she never really recovered from that. You know, she let Vivian take her down and hold her down and just hold her down. And it was just a frustrating experience overall, you know.
Well, I think maybe you just picked the wrong kind of target audience, you know, instead of, you know, we were just talking about nationalism and how Brazilians are so, you know, so ride for their own. You should have said dirty lesbians. That's where you should have gone with that one. It would have isolated a much smaller community.
You're probably right.
I think
I didn't have any of that in my mind though. People like, you know, they give me too much credit. You know what I mean? It's like
you were planning this.
Dude,
like, this
I
was your
have
platform.
I don't give a fuck what you guys are talking about, bro. I'm thinking about one thing that's going on right here, and I'm like, that's fucking dirty. Those are Brazilians that we're up against. I have nothing to do. I have no qualms with Brazilians. I mean, shit.
But you didn't mean dirty
sorry.
as in like dirty or gross or culture. You meant
No,
cheating. Like
of
she's
course
cheating.
Is that what people thought that she
yeah,
meant?
yeah. Like,
Yes.
I've never been to Brazil. How the fuck do I know what it's like? One, two, like, why is everybody so offended on that shit? You know?
Yeah.
If you're saying something outwardly racist, okay, like hang you to dry, but cheating, you're referring to the cheating, right?
Like, that's
there.
a dirty technique. I knew that shit was dirty.
But you guys
coming
remember
in.
the fight with Priscilla Cachueta, whatever, and Jillian Robertson, where she was getting choked out, reached back and gouged her
I
eyes.
do remember that.
Could we get a mic in Jillian Robertson's corner right after that?
No
Yeah.
shit. No
Well,
shit.
and then you said
No
beforehand going in that
No shit.
Andrea had been fouled before and that Vivian had done some fouls beforehand.
Mhm.
So you guys kind of knew what you're getting into right there. And then, so you don't even think a thing of it. You're just like, hey, I'm in the corner. Andrea, we've got this and that. Dirty Brazilian, whatever. What happened after? Like, how? Like, what was the first that you heard about? Like, you just start, fight's over. You guys go in the back.
Mhm.
We're done here. You're not thinking of it. And then, how did you hear that was now a thing?
So we're in medical checkout after the fight. And then Dana White actually walks up to me himself and he pulls me aside and he's like, hey, man, I just wanted to give you a heads up, man. They are crucifying you right now all over social media. You know, maybe you want to think about how you want to respond, or, you know, he like tried to get me in touch with his PR person, and she didn't really do too much for me. She's like, you could just get out in front of it now or just wait and then say something.
There's like, two routes you can go. You eat a bowl of acai and you post it, or you go gay. That's
so what did you?
Yeah, right.
So what did you end up doing?
I just kind of like try to put that in the back of my mind and worry about what, you know, Andrea was doing and kind of checked in on her. And then everyone in our party wanted to go grab some food. And then I got to really sit there and like soak it in. And I'm like, and I look up and I go back in the actually the very first thing that I did was go back and I watched the fight. Cause I'm like, this is very interesting how this clip got out here like that, because if you go back right now, you can literally pull up my fight and you guys will never, ever, ever find that clip. The only way that you'll ever find that clip is if you type in that shit and type in Tony Kelley, Brazilian comment or racist. You have to actually go and find that. You'll never hear me say it because it wasn't clipped on ESPN. So somebody.
But actually going back, just, playing not even devil's advocate here. So I've noticed the live broadcasts, a lot of the times they will actually show the corners, but when they put it up on Fight Pass, it's not there after the fact.
Yeah.
So somebody could have just had
they'll cut out ends of fights or little parts of fights all the time.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So whatever the finish
live, but then after the fact, a lot of times they'll put commercials on it on Fight Pass and stuff like that.
I mean, you still heard me giving corner advice. You just never heard that.
Oh, okay. We'll go back.
Miles Johns, they cut out the James Krause comment, like why Krause wasn't in the corner. They cut that part out. You can't. Same thing. You can't find it.
That's interesting.
So,
okay.
Yeah, it's a lot of editing behind the scenes, and then I'm just trying to like connect the dots, and I'm like, man, who in the fuck would say some shit like that? Like who would try to bury me like that? And then I just think back to like all of my instances during my UFC time. You know, it was like this COVID mandatory bullshit, like the mask bullshit. Like, I'm like, the last time I checked, this was still America, right? I still did live in the land of the free, and I respect everybody else's choices. So I would hope that you would respect my choice not to live like how you guys want to live during COVID pandemic. You know what I'm saying? So like this one guy, I cannot remember who it was. It was a tall gentleman, UFC badge and stuff on. I'm walking out to the scales for Randy Costa, and this is before Andrea's fight. And he's like, "Here, man, you need to put this on." And it was a mask, and I was like, "Oh no, sir, I'm good." He's like, "No, you don't understand. You have to put this on." I was like, "No, sir, you don't understand. I don't have to do shit." And I walked out there and I fucking did my thing, and they were fucking cherry red, man. They were so fucking mad. They were pissed. And like, I felt like the vibe completely changed during the UFC for me. Every single where I went, every time I went anywhere, they were all like kind of like talking about me, you know, because I didn't run around.
You didn't fall in line for them, and
I didn't
so
fall
they
in
didn't
line.
like it.
I didn't dap people up. I didn't bump elbows. I'm not over here for pictures, man. I don't really give a fuck, man. I've been fighting for a while. I like to fight. I enjoy it, you know. And I think that I belong in the UFC as opposed to a lot of the talent that I see out there right now. Sorry. I know how to check a leg kick.
I was just going to ask that because you're 2-2 in the UFC, right? And there's a lot of people that have.
I'm 3-1. Well, actually, no, I'm 2-2. Yeah, I should have won that.
The Kai fight?
Yeah, I lost it.
Yeah, so you're 2-2 in the UFC.
In my mind, I'm 3-1.
Just do the old
because I won that
good.
fight, Kai. You know, I did.
So you're 2-2 in the UFC. You know, whatever the records say. There's guys. What is it? Daniel Lacerda. He's 0-4, 0-5, and just got re-signed for another fight.
Yeah.
So obviously, it's not a record. You always had exciting fights. Everything that's going on.
Thank you.
We've seen that. Who was the guy who just? Saeed Yukub Kakaramanov, right? Very, very good fighter, 35er. And they let him go after, you know, some really great performances because of what they said he was, you know, doing with
Behind the
staff in
scenes.
back.
Yeah, they didn't like it.
Do you regret that decision to do the mask thing, knowing where you could be now with the UFC? I mean, they'd probably re-sign you off 2-2 with those spots. So do you regret that decision, or are you proud that you held true to kind of who you are?
No, I don't really regret that decision because it's like, man, that is who I am, man. You know, like I can be a company man. I can be a for the people type guy and all of that. But like, just leave me the fuck alone with pushing agendas and making me fall in line and do stuff. You know, like I'm just not that guy.
I am so with you, man. But I know in the vaccine, so I'm not vaccinated. I never got the vaccine. And, you know, it was weird. 6 months after, they just stopped kind of asking, and it never was a thing again. Right. But, you know, basically it was like, hey, if you want to get on this airplane and you want to go across the seas, you need the vaccine. That's it, period.
Right, yeah.
So for me, it was a decision. Like,
everybody's like, okay, yeah, fall in line.
Yeah, but for me, it was really simple.
What the fuck is going on?
It was like, man, I don't want to get the vaccine. I have no interest in it, but I do want to go overseas to go to this country.
Right.
So what's the split? So that's what I'm saying is like, you always, I mean, man, ever since I've known you, you've always held true to who you are. But do you regret just like, for one split second, just I'm going to put the mask on and I will immediately throw it away in the trash afterwards? Like,
no.
All right.
No.
There you go.
Now,
No.
did you ever
Ironclad, no.
Did you ever go online and address the comments that I, you know, like, and not even like, hey, I'm sorry if anyone was offended. I didn't mean it like that. I meant cheating. Did you ever go anywhere, or did you just let the media run with it?
No, I went to Twitter and I said, that's not what I meant. I have no racist connotations meant with my remarks. You know, I was talking about an eye poke, but if that's the way you guys want to take it, then so be it. That's how you can take it. I don't give a fuck. That's kind of what my response was to it. And then literally the media, talking about the media crucified me, man. Luke Thomas and Aaron Bernstetter are like the two biggest twats that are walk this fucking planet, man. They drug me through the mud, and Andrea as well. They're talking about, oh, she's racist and he's racist and they're bigots and pieces of shit. And all that they did was continue to recycle this clickbait. And not one person reached out to me, not one.
To actually interview you. To
actually get my take on it or understand
That's why we're ahead of the game. This is breaking, you know.
Yeah.
Well, especially, I mean, if one thing, if you say something and me, just like not me that knows you, I'm just a random guy on the internet. and I'm like, fuck Tony Kelley, I'm going to clip this and I'm going to post this and whatever. It's another thing for a journalist who is a professional journalist for a living to start posting stuff like that and do stuff like that versus without interviewing you.
Well,
like,
they
hey,
knew what
can I
they
get
were doing. That was clickbait. Oh, this is the hottest shit right now, and everybody's like gonna eat this shit up.
Recently, we had, I think it was on the same card. Was it the Australia card that we had two? I believe two fighters made gay remarks the same night.
Charles Radke and then Manel Cape, right?
Yes. Do you feel like they got treated the same way that you did?
No. And nobody in this thing has gotten treated like me on this, man. I think it was very obvious to me that someone or some many people don't like me or whatever I stand for, and they single me out and use me to be an example. And it's favoritism, man. Ultimate favoritism championship, man. It's just where we're at.
Now, I had a question, just kind of thinking about this culturally. You have an accent. You're from Louisiana.
Do I have an accent? I feel like I've lost it.
A little bit.
I feel like you've lost it a little bit.
A little bit.
I feel like, honestly, like, I'm sorry, I got to say this. I think Danger Cage has the best Louisiana accent out of everyone.
Maybe so.
He sounds like Gambit.
Yeah, he keeps it again. That's funny as fuck.
So I just think about this. First
the
first
best
of all,
X-Men character ever, bro.
First of all, the F word is just kind of a fun word to say. I mean, it's kind of faded out in recent years, but it's fun. You know, you're hanging out with your guys, whatever. You know, you say
it never meant what you guys think it means now.
And my mom is gay.
It might have meant that.
Yeah,
right.
But
we use it different.
So this is what I wonder, if because of you have an accent, because you are from where you're from, and honestly because of Andrea's history with, you know, her ex-boyfriend, ex-husband, back in the day. So if all of that played a factor versus Charlie Radke, who gets up there and he's just a Philly boy.
I was gonna say he's from Philly.
He's a dirty, nasty Philly. I don't know if say that.
Dirty,
say nasty
that
Philly boy, and he says the F word.
You're canceled right now.
And Manel's from Portugal, and they're probably like looking at Manel going, he doesn't even know what that means.
Yeah, but like, how fair is that shit? That's not.
Not fair at all.
It's like good for me or good for thee, but not for me. You know what I'm saying? It's like everybody plays by those fucking rules, and I can't stand that shit. It's like every single body can do or say or be anything they want to be, but if you're white or from a good old boy country, or I don't know, if you have different beliefs or different views.
Did anyone from the UFC ever talk with you about it or ask about a statement or like directly mention anything after the fact of that situation?
No.
Okay.
No, it was kind of like, hey, Dana was like, hey, man, I'm giving you a heads up so you can get in front of this if you want.
Of course.
But here's my PR person, and it was like some woman, and I started talking to her, and she was like, yeah, you can just jump in front of it, or you can wait. I was like, oh, I thought you were going to help me like come up with something.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm on my own. Gotcha.
Like Brandon asked, do you feel like in hindsight you shouldn't have like done the mask thing or this and that? And you said no. Hindsight's 2020. So of course.
Maybe I could have played by the rules.
The rules a little bit more. But after that, do you wish that you had like gotten in front of it more and said like I'm assuming you probably didn't think it was going to go as far as it went, and it wasn't going to be as big of a deal as it is.
Yeah.
If you had the foresight to realize how big of a deal it was going to be, would you have done a more formal post on like, hey, you guys, I didn't mean it like that. I meant it being like cheating wise.
Yeah,
like,
maybe
would you have maybe been a little bit more tender with the way that you approached it, basically, instead of like, fuck off, guys. If you don't like the way that I said it, which is what it was, like, fuck you. Like
perhaps I would have had I not been bombarded by all of the fucking thousands and thousands of messages and comments about hate and racism. And it's like, you simple-minded people who are so unreasonable want to come over here and crucify me on my fucking platform and come over here and trash everybody that's on my platform. Like, how is that any better than a remark that I make? But you're sitting here, you're getting upset about a fucking remark that I made. You guys are fucking literally like, it's trash, man. That's absolute trash. So like, what am I apologizing to?
Yeah.
You guys owe me an apology. Matter of fucking fact.
If you
that shit's
Brandon
trash.
and I are arguing and I'm about to apologize, but then you're like, you need to apologize to Brandon.
You're like,
and Gabe's like, hey, you need to apologize to Brandon. Everyone's like, you shouldn't have said that. And you almost start putting your heels in the ground a little bit. Like,
now, are you envious of Chael Sonnen at all? Because he went at Brazil, and then he never backed down from Brazil. He doubled down. I honestly think after that, you should have said, "No, fuck Brazil. I want to fight in Brazil.
Yeah, I mean,
Give me their best.
You see that?
Yeah,
you see some of
I'm
these
not
guys.
opposed to that. Okay, I'm not scared.
All right,
I'm
UFC,
not
Sean
scared to
Shelby.
stand by that.
Yeah.
Listen up.
You know
Well,
what I mean?
you see a couple guys that seem to have been treated to a different standard than some
Yeah.
of the guys. You have Manel Cape, you have
Yes.
Radke, who recently said what they said. Chael Sonnen gets a pass on everything that he says.
And he doubles down
And
every
he
single
doubles
time.
down. But then you, whether they directly, responded or indirectly, but then even remember, not Manny Torres. Who was it? Miguel Torres.
Oh yeah.
Back in the day, he made a joke about like a rape van joke, and I don't even remember the details of it, but
Jeez.
he got fired basically for that.
Oh no shit.
Yeah, and I don't remember the exact details of
I liked him.
everything.
I wonder what happened here.
But yeah, there definitely is a double standard with if you're the guy, they'll kind of brush it away, and
And that's in every
and
field. That's every
that is
career field
absolutely
ever.
in every field.
Yeah.
Look at Michael Vick right now.
Look at
who's-
John Jones.
Yeah,
Yes,
John
right,
Jones.
yeah, no
I mean,
shit.
look at the
No
NFL. Look at Michael
fucking
Vick,
shit.
who's on television.
Yeah.
Sean
Sean
Strickland's
Strickland.
the champ.
Yeah.
But Strickland doesn't really say anything that's like.
I mean, he says off the wall shit that you could really
Yeah.
probably say, hey, bro, what the fuck?
I
He
know
was,
what
he
you're
was
going to
making
say.
he was making gay jokes with Izzy at the press conference.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And
And then you got Izzy, him retaliating against what's that white dude from Africa?
Rodriguez.
Yeah,
Dreykus.
Rodriguez. It's like,
Calling
come
a white
on,
guy
bro.
the
Like,
N-word
what
is
is
the funniest thing on the
that is-
planet.
I'm just really confused, man. I just, I got in the hurt business because I enjoy it and it's fun for me and I'm better at it than I am at math and science and everything else, right? So that's what I do, and it's just transformed into something that I don't recognize, man, because it is. It's like it's a favoritism thing. It's a popularity contest. It's rubbing elbows with the right people, putting every dick in your mouth, and I'm like, dude, I've never been about that. I've never sat out or like saw out clout. I never chased that shit. Like, I don't really care, I was a goofy little kid that just did this shit and, whatever. But like, this is what I enjoy to do. And I hate that people take the enjoyment away from it. That's literally why I handled it like I did, I kind of just shut that book and just turned my shit off. And I said, man, I'm going to do me. So everybody can you guys continue to talk, send those messages, say whatever fucking shit. I'm a racist, whatever. Cool. Great. Bye. I'm living my life. And that's kind of, that's just what I did. And now I'm like, you know what? I got a sour taste in my mouth because of the way that it all transpired. And then, this Adrian Yanez fight, I really just feel like I'm so much better than that guy. I feel like I'm levels better than that guy. And I didn't get to show that.
well, how did that whole beef start? Because that was one of those things where after the Andrea Lee thing, you got booked to fight Yanez. And then
it was like under 2 weeks too. So like every single fight that I had in the UFC was like, 4 weeks, 2 weeks, 6 days. It was like not enough time. And actually, just so everyone is clear, like I came in off the couch, 6 days notice and got fight of the night, right? So that's a performance bonus on my first fight and then got back-to-back dubs, against Randy Costa, who they were trying to build up. They thought that was the next big thing. And then Adrian Yanez with under 2 weeks in his hometown, that's the type of guy I am, man. I'm not running from problems. I'm not running from challenges. I'm down to get down anytime.
what happened? Was there actual beef in the lead up to that? Do you guys actually know each other, not like each other? Or
we came up on kind of the same circuit. It was like ring rollers. He's in Texas. He's not
Houston
far.
and Louisiana kind of
it's,
thing.
It's kind of the same area, LFA, Legacy, all of that. And I have nothing, disrespectful to say about him as who he is as a fighter and all of that, although I do think he's a one-trick pony. You know what I'm saying? He's got some good hands. That's great. But where it really started to bother me was like him trying to piggyback off of this Brazilian shit and then literally like feed off of that and start trashing me, talking all of that shit, and then getting all this, oh yeah, for Brazil and him and Gilbert Burns and all that shit. I'm like, bro, this is like a fucking soap opera, bro. Like you don't know me. You don't know shit about me. I don't really know you.
He's
bro.
repping Brazil now. He's
like,
the
dude,
voice of all
you got-
anti-racists.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And it's like, you see what happened to him after our fight, it's like, I hate to even say that, like I would speak differently if I feel like he really got the best of me. I really would. Okay. Yeah. I know you guys saw it. I experienced it. The whole world saw it. Cool. He won a fist fight. He caught me, good on him. He did. He won a fist fight. But, that just wasn't me, man. I'm trying to get my legs backstage. You know, a lot of things went into that I wasn't even focused on that. I mean, all of this Brazilian shit, I'm still dealing with all of that, trying to navigate how I'm even trying to prepare for this fight. I'm in Louisiana. I don't even have training partners. You know, I'm like doing the best at like putting the puzzle pieces together in my life. You know what I mean? And, they give me this notice, hey, you know, it's under 2 weeks here in Austin, Texas. I was like, man, I'd rather go to Austin, Texas, honestly, than have to go all the way back out to Vegas, especially during this time and shit. So yeah, fuck, I'll do Austin. That's close to home. We can drive. It's easy. It's convenient. And I'll beat this guy up, you know, and that's kind of what I was thinking. My meals didn't come to like the last week of my training camp. So it's like, there goes half of my training. I need 6 weeks on my meals first off to make 135. It's a tall order for me to make 135 as it is, but training, hitting a bag, working with Andrea, running, doing all the things that I could do. I just kind of depleted myself. And then, when I go to make weight, this is the first time that this has ever happened to me ever. You know, I'm wearing these little sauna sleeping bags. I didn't actually get the sauna tent like what I'm used to, you know? And then I just stopped sweating. I'm in that bitch for like 7-8 hours. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck is going on? 7-8 hours. I'm done. Like, I'm done. Why the fuck am I cutting weight? And I look and I'm like 2 pounds heavy and shit. And I'm like, dude, nothing's coming off. I'm not sweating right now. Like, what the fuck's going on? Start cramping and shit. Actually, when I go to the UFC to go check my weight, I was like, well, I'm just going to see if I can float it and we'll see. So I show up to go check my weight and the medical professionals were like, hey, man, we might need to pull him, actually. Like, they were talking about it. And I saw the commission and Sean Shelby and other people. They're like, no, we need to make this fight happen. What do we got to do to make this fight happen kind of shit? And I'm like, y'all don't give a fuck about me. I'm dying and shit. Like, and literally, like, I find out, like, the reason it went to shit was I was passing kidney stones during that fucking time, bro. I never had a kidney stone in my entire fucking life. And I'm like, I didn't even want to make excuses and use all of this because people were like, excuses. But it's like, it's real shit that happened. So call it what you want to call it. But this is real life.
So did you have to go to the hospital afterwards?
Yeah.
For kidney stones?
I went to the hospital afterwards. And I was fucking bent over, you know what I mean? I'm fucking dying and shit. And they're like, well, yeah. And, you know, the media is fucking crucifying me. I'm just getting played, bro. I'm like, I'm over here dying and shit. Like, well, I gave it my best, you know?
Did you ever talk with Sean or anyone at the UFC about having kidney stones and the situation and the details?
No, I wasn't really presented the opportunity to do that, you know? And then I'm sure they don't want to hear much of excuses, you know? They want to see results, you know? But here's the thing, you know, Adrian, you got that. Good on you, whatever, you know? That was your night. Under 2 weeks, a depleted version of me that's not training with kidney stones. Great job, bro. Awesome fucking job. I don't think you got the best version of me, and I would love to run that back sometime in my life. I really would.
Yeah. I wanted to ask something because I saw the video actually yesterday when we were watching. Like you said, you can't find the video of you saying that stuff in the corner. I was trying to show my girlfriend. I was like, yeah, we're going to interview Tony tomorrow. I was like, he hates Brazilians, so you can't come. Like, I was just messing around.
Whatever.
But there's only one clip, and it shows, you know, you saying that in the corner, and then the Yanez fight 2 weeks later. So one thing, first of all, the most hilarious clip to me was you at the weigh-ins, just because I know you from over the years. And he goes, "Fucking make weight, bro," and you're like, I fucking tried. Yeah. I tried. I thought that was the best.
What the fuck you think? What you think I came here to do, bro? Like, I mean,
best
I would have came in 5 pounds heavy, homie. What the fuck?
I tried.
What do you guys think?
I remember seeing this, and so maybe you can kind of shed light on this. You don't like airplanes.
Man, you know, I don't love airplanes. You know, I've been all across the country. I've been to Thailand. I've been to, you know, Cambodia. I've been to Abu Dhabi, all over. But my real qualm with the airlines is when you know, COVID hit and shit. American Airlines, man, like, I didn't like to put on a mask in general, and because I already don't believe in them. I'm like, painters paint with a specific type of mask. Yeah. You know, hazmat suits have a different mask. Like, that shit's cloth. It's not doing anything. So I just put it on to amuse everybody else and to fall in line like a good little sheeple. You know what I'm saying? And so I get on my aircraft and I'm talking. And I swear to God, like, it comes below my nose for like a split second as I'm walking to my fucking chair. And this lady's like, sir, put your mask, you have to pull it up. I'm like, dude, I'm done. Actually, matter of fact, let me rewind. Our flight was delayed like 7 or 8 hours first off. So I'm already like, all right, fuck, man.
Now, what fight is this for?
I don't even think it was.
The reason I was asking is because I don't know if it was the Randy Costa fight. I
No, it
remember
wasn't.
the report coming out about you driving from Louisiana to wherever you need.
So
to
all
go.
of this stemmed from this one particular incident. So I'm on American Airlines, and this is like right before that Randy Costa fight, and literally this lady's like hassling me, and another guy comes over and he's hassling him. I'm like, lady, I haven't made it to my fucking seat yet. I haven't sat down on the fucking plane. You see, I'm holding all of this shit. Can you back the fuck off of me? Are you fucking kidding me right now? Fucking mass Nazi. I'm making it to my fucking chair. Are you fucking kidding me? And then she was like dumbfounded. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Back the fuck up. And then so I go to sit in my seat and I get all my shit and I pull my fucking mask up. I put my hoodie on. I'm trying to be out, man. I'm like, let's just get to where the fuck we're going. I get tapped. I look up and it's like 3 police officers. And I'm like, yes, what's up? I'm like, hey, we need you to step off with us. And I'm like, nah, the fuck I am, man. I'm already 8 hours late, man. Dude, fuck that shit. Fuck that shit. What's going to happen? Because I need to get on a flight or you guys need to give me my money back. And they're like, man, look, we're with you, honestly, man. But there's nothing that we can really do because it's a private airline. And I was like, oh, okay. So these private airlines have all of this fucking power over you. And I got a flight stewardess fucking, telling me how to live my life, running shit. I'm like, I don't know where we went wrong in life right now. So, you know what? I'm not paying you to be in charge of me. I'm not paying to fly on this shit. I'll drive. And then, so we drove.
Have you flown since that?
Yeah, I flew here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was asking, that's going to be the longest drive
Yeah, that's
ever.
a long drive.
No,
Yeah,
it
your
is,
parents
it
now
is.
live in just outside of Phoenix in one of the suburbs. So it's
a
nice.
long drive, man. I don't suggest it, but it was worth it in that moment.
I remember that
Just
story
sad.
coming out, and I'm thinking, man, that's the craziest thing to like drive your fight week.
Pulled up, bro.
Yeah.
Were you
We
cutting
built
weight in the
different.
car? Would you turn the heat on high, or you just drove normal, then cut
Just
weight once you got
drove normal,
Okay.
yeah.
Now,
People were making up shit all the time.
Oh, yeah. I ain't
with
going
this
that
stuff,
crazy.
like, man, it's commendable, but then you just see like, forget about the mask stuff and the Andrea Lee stuff for a second. Like, but the kidney stones, and I get it. There's that fine line of like not wanting to make an excuse of a fight.
But then real shit.
Yeah.
That's it. And so there is like,
I wasn't even advised on what to do.
yeah,
man.
there's not.
I mean, Andrea tried, but she's like, you're not going to listen to me.
Yeah.
You're Tony.
It's one of those things like people say it all the time. There's stuff like,
I'm like, I know what the fuck I'm doing. I
Yeah.
got this.
if
I'm gonna
you
beat
talk
his
about
ass
a
and this is
fight,
going to be badass story and all of this shit's going to happen.
if you talk about a knee injury and you win the fight, you're lauded as like the greatest thing
Right,
in the
exactly.
world. Oh, whoa,
Yeah.
you fought with a knee injury, but if you lose a fight and you
Exactly.
bring it up, then you're just a poor loser.
Right, yeah.
And so there is that line of like, how do you talk to
Navigate
like
that.
Sean Shelby or the UFC and go like, hey man, like I legit was in the hospital with kidney stones without trying to sound like you're making excuses and
Right.
doing that. And so there's
Like, I
that
haven't
fine
missed
line.
weight yet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
You
saying?
just present them with the kidney stone.
Yeah.
Send it to their door.
Here it is.
A little ring box.
Dude,
You know,
and that
for
sucks.
Christmas.
On a whole nother thing. I don't
Yeah.
know if you guys have ever dealt with something like that.
No, I've not.
I guess I drink a lot of carbonated water. I love Topo Chico, and I don't know.
Oh man, that's
Oh,
I
yeah,
drink all
that's the name of our game.
Oh, is that
Yeah.
is Spindrift gonna put me down?
I don't know. I
Oh
hope
shit!
not.
I didn't know that was a thing.
I don't know. I don't know how that even came about. I'm like, what the fuck? I eat very clean, and I don't drink a lot of bullshit.
So you're out of the UFC now. I mean,
Out of
what's
contract.
that? Yeah, out of contract. Yeah. So you didn't get
They
cut
did-
from the UFC.
No.
You finished your 4 fights. They didn't re-sign you.
Yes.
So now you're a free agent. What do you do now? I mean, do you keep fighting? Do you get back? Like, what's your plan moving forward?
I'd like to fight. I'd like an opportunity on a good platform to be able to show actually my true potential, because I think that I'm just now getting to reach that. I think, along the way, timing is everything. I know that it is. You're young, you're healthy, you're full of energy, you're undefeatable, but like maybe your mind's not all the way in it like you need it to be, and life is just weird, man. It just is, and I'm at a different chapter right now where I'm like, you know what? I can either just be done and walk away with the way things are right now, or I can put the ending to my story the way that I want to do it, I kind of think I like that idea a little bit better than letting this schmuck Adrian Yanez get a victory over me and the media play me out like they did. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like whoever, wherever, I don't care, man. I feel like I'm I'm good enough to beat anybody with the right tools, the right coaching, the right people around me. I feel like I can beat anybody. You know what I mean? These guys, like, they train every fucking day with top level teams, coaches, training partners. You know, like I hit a fucking bag and jogged to get ready for Randy Costa, Ali Al-Casey. You know, it's like Adrian Yanez's, and I did pretty fucking good, man. So
now, there's a lot of other fighting sports out there now in terms of, there's bare knuckle MMA, there's bare knuckle boxing, there's karate combat.
Yeah.
Do any of those things appeal to you, or is it like,
Just
no, I
MMA.
want MMA?
Man, you know, there's appeal to everything, honestly, you know. Bare knuckle boxing is kind of like not the most appealing, just because it's like, I don't know, there's like that high of a ceiling with it, you know what I mean? And
Well, it's kind of, that's where MMA fighters go to die.
Well, but
That's
you
like-
say that,
maybe
but
that's the
honestly,
graveyard.
they're paying more than anybody else.
Yeah,
Well,
but what
the
do you get?
top
Okay,
guys, the
yeah,
top
okay.
guys.
But you're
for
former
30
UFC.
30,000 or something like that, 40,000 for some scar tissue, you know, your shit's getting fucked up. You might get broken orbitals, enough money to pay for your medical bills type shit. It's
The thing
bare
is,
knuckle,
though,
man.
you're
I got
actually,
some bony ass knuckles.
You're actually a good fighter. And I mean, that's the reason that we're sitting here
That's
today.
why I'm sitting here. That's where he won all his money.
because
is bare
because
knuckle.
half the that's how I won all my money, and half the guys that fight in that are drug addicts and washouts. They're 3-20 amateurs, right? And then you have guys from Louisiana. I don't know if you know, like David Boswick.
I fought David Bosnick.
Did you really?
Yeah.
So you know him very well.
As an amateur, we fought twice. We fought to a decision the first time, and he got the decision, and I knocked him out the second time.
There you go.
There you go. So and he's an amazing bare knuckle fighter, and those guys are making good money, and you have a name, former UFC, and honestly, I mean, you know, this stuff all around you, whether you like it or not, makes you a bigger star in this thing, and you could probably negotiate some more. So that I guess was my question too, is if you're
maybe game bred, like where Randy's
Yeah,
at, you know,
yep.
that might be good.
MMA as
Because
well.
that you said that actually counts as a MMA fight.
Yeah,
okay.
it goes on your MMA record. The bare
does it
knuckle
really
MMA.
count
Yep.
on the record?
Yep, they count. They keep it the same.
They're paying crazy money. Trust.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are, and they're actually. They said they're just about to announce their second show coming up.
I'm in.
Soon.
Sign me up.
Get them
Sign
in
me
there.
Hey, we could probably make that happen. I got some.
We could actually
connections.
probably make that happen.
Yeah, sign me
Um,
up. I'm down.
Real quick before we wrap this up, we do have a couple people who have some questions for you.
For sure.
Oh yeah,
Let's do it.
we
Let's
put
do it,
out
yeah.
the
Yeah.
bat signal to see if we could ask you some questions. Did we get anything on the Instagram?
Yeah, I got a question
Come on,
from
the
Kai
Instagram.
Boy Kamaka. Actually,
Oh, yeah,
he's
what's
got a
up?
question for you.
Sick.
He you kind of answered this already, but he wants to know when you will fight again. You have a timeline as far as ideally when you'd like to get back in.
Man, honestly, I don't want to be in any later than February of next year. You know, I'd like to get something before the end of the year, but I don't think that's probably in the cards. Seeing as in we're December now, going into December, so.
And then I think Brandon had a question from a fan
so
as well.
I put this on Twitter, and Twitter is a much less savory place, as you kind of already know. A lot of these questions I don't like a lot, but I guess there's one question that just asks, where were you January 6th?
At the Capitol. I was at the Capitol. I had these horns on.
That is the best question ever.
He was asking January 6th, 2022, but thanks for incriminating yourself.
I was there. I seen it.
Man, well, thank you for coming on, Tony.
Definitely.
Anything else you want to say before you're out of here?
Let me just look at
Whether
these
it's
notes.
about this or whether it's about that.
I just want to make sure I hit everything. I did hit everything. Okay, perfect. No, yeah. I mean, I appreciate you guys giving me a platform to be able to communicate some of this stuff. I know that not everybody really understands it, you know, and yeah, maybe I could have chose my words a little better in that time, but it's like 1 minute in between rounds, you know, in a fist fight. Like the last thing I'm thinking about is being PC or, you know, what I'm going to come off to somebody else, you know. If I was really racist, I could have probably said some racist shit, you know what I'm saying? And followed up that way, you know, but you know, I got love for everybody and I got hate for everybody equally as well. So just let that be known. Like I dislike most everybody. Okay. So it doesn't matter what nationality, language you speak. Like we either vibe or we don't. And it's cool if we don't, you know, there's a lot of people on this planet. So I appreciate that we vibe and you guys have me here to be able to articulate this. So thank you so much.